This is the final press conference with the California Lutheran Kingsmen, your 2017 NCAA Division III Baseball National Champions. Congratulations, players and coaches. With us is head coach Marty Slimick and his student athletes Brad Fullerton, Gabe Gunter, and Miguel Salud. After their 7-3 win over W&J. We'll start with opening remarks from head coach Marty Slimick on today's win, team performance, and claiming their program's first ever national championship.
All right, well, I want to start it off by saying I thank the Lord, Jesus Christ, my Savior, for getting us here. Number one. Okay, let's get going here. I'll tell you what. If you would have asked me in February that these guys and this team would be sitting here, I'd have looked at you and said, you're nuts. We had so many question marks. We did not know we could even get close to something like this. But as the season progressed, these guys started coming together, and it was just a great clubhouse. Today's game, after yesterday's beating down, we're loose. I mean, we just know. I think it was okay, because if we would have lost maybe 3-2 or 4-3, it would have been a thing bit harder. But these guys came back and they said. They keep on telling me, and we're fully, no worries, Slim. That's all he would say. No worries, Slim. We got this thing. So I'm really proud of them. I thought the game, kind of the first game, we needed to do something to kind of make a statement a little bit to get back in it. And I was talking to Coach Jeff, and he just goes, "Great comeback right now." And then we just got some great performances by these guys, and making it happen for us today. Really, I'm really proud of these guys.
Coach, was the plan today in the third game to stick with Roberts, and try to get him as far as you can, so you can get the salute?
Yeah, exactly. We are thin on the mound. We've been thin all year. I only think we actually brought only 7 pitchers on this trip. Now we do have a couple guys that are two-way guys, but that's all we had. So and so those guys stepped up, but Roberts was the guy. And we just said, gosh, if we could get 4 or 5 out of him, that would be great. And but we were going to go to Miggy late, no matter what, or early. It was just going to be that, and it all worked out. The guys put on some extra runs, made it a little bit nicer and a little bit easier, and it worked out.
One of the things that was noticeable is that those hits that were going to the gloves yesterday were all of a sudden missing the fielders. How does that spark the team and keep it going?
You remember when Max was here yesterday, he says, hey, it's just baseball. We hit the ball hard. It was going right at people and stuff. And then the next day, they fall in. So I think it was good. I think the guys were confident. The guys were confident. They believed that they can do it. We came here knowing in this series, the championship series, that we had to win 2 games. And it didn't matter how we did it. We just need to. We got beat yesterday. I looked at them. I said, you still got to win 2 games. And they didn't crown the national champion yesterday. They crowned it today. So the guys believed it, and great job.
Miguel, when they called upon you to pitch, how big was it to not be able to have to pitch yesterday, saving yourself for today?
Oh, it was huge. It was huge that I was able to rest yesterday. I mean, we did get clobbered, but it was a minor setback for a major comeback.
Brad, nice approach to the plate. What was the pitcher doing to that you guys were able to solve from yesterday to today?
Obviously, we're a small team for the most part, so the exception of like Gabe and Max, and that's pretty much it, right? Those are the only guys that can really hit bombs. So in our batting practices, our first round is usually hard ground balls, and oppo. So just look for a pitch away, drive it, keep it under the roof. Don't elevate too much, because we're a pretty small team, and hitting it, keeping it low, keeping it on the ground is usually our way to go. So,
Gabe, you got the first really big hit in the championship game with that double. What was your approach at the plate at the time?
Well, I knew that the whole series, they were trying to work me away the whole time, and so and the first at bat, they started me off with an off-speed pitch. So second at bat, I just wanted to keep my hands loose, and I think it was bases loaded with 1 out. So I was trying to get something up in the air, and you know, he put a ball over the plate, and I just tried to take it up the middle, and you know, elevated it.
Yeah, good things happen.
Good things happen when you try and put the ball up the middle. So that was my approach.
Yeah, and Gabe, talk a little bit more. You had a clutch hit in the West Region Final, that 3-run home run. You had the big hit today to get it going. So talk about those at-bats and how key those have been for you.
You know, to be honest, I was sort of struggling a little bit here and a little bit in the regionals, so I had to, I guess, focus a little more, and that might mean, you know, not think as much at the plate. So I just wanted to stay loose, you know, stay locked in, look for something that was out over the plate, and put a good swing on it.
And Miguel, with your 14th save, you broke the CLU single-season record of Aaron Roth, who had 13. You've been on a roll with saves. Talk about the impact that you've had with this team coming in your first year and closing out games.
Well, from the beginning, I didn't even think that I was going to be the closer. I was just the first guy out of the pen. And when they switched me to become a closer and Wayner to become the starter, I guess I just stuck to my approach, hit my spots. You know, every time I come out, all I see is me and my catcher. There's nothing else, and I always just reset if ever anything bad happens or people get on base. Like, I just don't rattle myself. Yeah.
And Brad, talk about this clubhouse. You guys, you're a really fun group. You're sort of one of the ringleaders, if you will, of getting these guys going. Fun. You guys all dyed your hair and all that. Talk about that, how playing loose and how big that's been for you.
Well, you know, in these big games, these big situations, you're not going to win these games if you're playing tight, and that's something we preach, is playing loose. And I think that's where our team really exceeds, is we're really all out here to have fun. We just are all so close. This is a great group of guys, and I think that's what it really boils down to, is that's what we're out here to do, and that's why we play well together. Like, I wouldn't say that we have, of course we have good athletes on our team, but I wouldn't say we have like extremely amazing athletes on our team. I think just as collectively that we play just great as a team, because we're all just out here with our buddies to have fun, play ball, and so it worked out for us.
And with the win tonight, you guys hit 40 wins for the year, second highest in program history. The 1992 team had 43. Finished runner-up. Coach finished runner-up in 92, 96, and now you won the whole thing. Talk about third time's a charm going into this game.
Well, I'll tell you what, this national championship is for all those guys that came before us and all those guys that bled the purple and gold. And well, I'll tell you what, we had some good teams in '92, and this team reminded me a lot of the '96 team. That team, you know, we didn't hit big home runs, but we can run a little bit. We pitched a little bit, and we played great defense. And I just kind of going through as the season progressed, I started going, man, these kids could be special right now, and it was reminding me of that '96 team when, hey, '92 and '96 we were runner-up. So this is for all those teams that played before us that made this possible in 2017. All those teams, all those alumni.
And talk a little bit more about this group and all the seniors, the senior group that you guys had.
Well, it's a bunch of jackwagons. You know, that's how I call them. And just they're, you know, God, you know, as a coach, what you try to do, you try to find. Here's how you coach. You try to find out what's going on in their head. I still don't know what's going on in their head. But what I do know is this clubhouse was tight. And if your clubhouse is good, you're going to be okay. And this clubhouse was pretty tight and very good. And they played for each other.
Coach, you talked yesterday about how you knew they didn't have the energy right away. When did you know today that the energy switch had been turned back on?
Well, you know what? I went out in center field with them yesterday. In spring ball, before we get going, we take our guys out to center field. And I look at them and I said, okay, here's how far we are away from our final end result, national championship. And I said, now go look how far we're away and go look at that mound. You want to be celebrating on that mound. So we take them out there and we said, this is what it's going to take, a lot of hard work. And as you get better, and as the season progresses, you get closer to the dirt. And next thing you know, you're just there. And then what I do is I bring them then around the mound. I said, nobody touches that mound. They circle it, and we just said, okay, one day you can be jumping around on this mound, but you can't touch it until you do it. So that's how we did. So we took them out there and said, okay, all year you played for this opportunity, and you're this close. You got to win two. And I just let them go, and I just knew it. They believed that they were loose. No problem. No worries. Kept on saying, no worries, son. We got it. We got it.
Thank you. Congratulations, California Lutheran.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, guys. Good job. Good job. Congratulations. Thanks, Jimmy.